Hey guys, Chris here. In the past 12 months, I have driven and tested more than 35 different electric cars, and I've actually owned two, and I currently daily and own the Audi E-Tron GT you see parked right behind me. And in the past 12 months, I have actually driven between 100 and 120,000 kilometers. That distance is insane, and when I sat down and actually calculated it, I was blown away. So in this video, guys, I'm going to share with you the 6 things I have learned in the past year of driving all of these EVs. When I took delivery of my E-Tron 55 about a year ago, it was kind of an experiment because where I live, which is about 400 meters that way, I park in the street and I don't have home charging. Well, because I park in the street. So for the first 6 months of me owning an EV, or maybe like 8 months, I wasn't able to charge close to where I lived. So what I would do is I would use, quick chargers or lightning chargers like the ones we have over there. We have 125 kilowatt and also 150 kilowatt charger. And then I would, at work sometimes in downtown Oslo and maybe go shopping, I would slow charge at a 22 kilowatt charger like this car. So this car has an onboard charger which is 11 kilowatts. So this car with a net battery capacity of around 85 kilowatt hours, it should charge, from 0 to 100 in a little more than 8 hours, which is overnight. And what I learned, my first 8 months of owning an EV is that, well, no problems at all owning an EV without being able to charge close to where you live, because there was always a charger somewhere, and I would go to a shopping mall where I could connect to a 50 kilowatt charger. I would be fully charged in, I don't know, an hour and a half if I came with like 50 or 25% battery. But now that I have actually access, which is about a 4-minute walk from where I live, to these chargers here, where you have, the slow chargers, I can charge overnight, no problem at all. And also I can charge quickly with these. So what I've learned in the past, 12 months is it's no issue at all, for me at least, where I live in Norway, to own an EV without access to a home charger. Before I forget, guys, I'm actually giving away a Zaptic Go home charger to a lucky subscriber once we hit 30,000 subscribers, which should happen quite quickly. We're almost at 27,000 subscribers now, so crossing my fingers that we'll hit that quickly and I will be able to give that away to a lucky subscriber. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway, you have to click that subscribe button down below. And also, guys, if you like these EV videos, please hit that like button down below. That is much appreciated. It helps with the almighty YouTube algorithm, so thank you very much. In the past year, I have probably charged at DC fast chargers several hundred times. I don't have count anymore. I've been so reliant on them for all of my tests and all of my trips, but it has to be in the hundreds. And I have learned a few things that you guys may find useful. So first off, a cold battery won't charge fast. You won't be getting close to that peak speed that the manufacturer is claiming. So parked overnight, connect to a charger. If it's cold outside, you won't be getting close to that peak speed. But even if it is warm, it has to be within optimal, charging temperature, which is around 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, depending on the car and the battery. But it's usually somewhere in between there. So even in the summertime, if it's 25 degrees outside, that's still considered a cold battery for charging. But the same thing can also be said if the battery is hot. A hot battery won't charge fast either. So it's 35 degrees outside, you go on a motorway run, and then you connect to a charger. Well, most likely you will get thermal throttling. So EVs are very dependent and sensitive to temperature. Different EVs are different. Some EVs have better management when it comes to cold batteries and also hot batteries. Like this car has really good fans, so it will actually, even in the hot and in the heat, it won't thermal throttle. Connecting to a charger, you have to go several hours at like Vmax before this battery starts to throttle. And also in the winter time, you have something like an Audi E-Tron 55, which has an active battery heating element, which is quite big, and will actually give you that peak speed even when it's cold. It takes a few minutes, but it will heat up the battery quickly. Other EVs also have different managements where something like a Tesla will actually preheat the battery while selecting a fast charger. So different batteries, different cars do this differently. So if you want to see how your car has done, or a car you're looking to buy, go to my channel down below and search for 10 to 80% charging speed and charging time test. You'll find a charging test on your EV if I have done a test with that EV. But then we have the second thing, which is also charging curve. So if you're new to EVs, you may not know this because neither the manufacturers or journalists out there are good at relaying this information to the public. This is why I do these videos, guys, for, well, to educate all of us, educate me, and also to show you guys how these EVs charge. So a charging curve is basically what it sounds like. I'm going to overlay one here where you can see that in this EV, it will only charge quickly or get that peak speed at a low state of charge. As the state of charge climbs, more energy into the battery, the speed drops. This is typical of EVs. Other EVs are better. Again, the E-Tron 55, which is kind of a special case, will actually have a flat charging curve from about 0 to 79%. But then above that, no EVs charge fast, even an E-Tron 55. So again, depending on your EV, you'll have to look at a charging curve to see how it charges. But EVs charge differently. So when a manufacturer says, yes, this EV has a peak speed of 150 kilowatts, that's not saying a lot. Like a Mustang Mach-E has a peak speed of 150 kilowatts for like 2 minutes. Compare that to the E-Tron 55, it has it from 0 to 79%. That is a big difference. In the past few months, I have done 2 major road trips throughout Europe and across Europe in electric cars. It first started with the trip to Italy in the Polestar 2, 4,800 kilometers in this car in 5 days from Norway to, well, the south of Europe to the Mediterranean Sea and then back again. That was an awesome trip, and even with 21 charging sessions, no problem, no issues at all. 4,800 kilometers in 5 days with this car. And then a month later, I took my brand new E-Tron GT down to the south of Germany and then spent almost a week in Munich, and then I drove back. That was almost like 5,000 kilometers. I think that was a little bit more, 5,500 kilometers in that week with my E-Tron GT. So in the past 2 months, I have done 10,000 kilometers across Europe in EVs, not even counting the trips I've done in Norway, to the Arctic Circle and back again in the Mustang Mach-E. I've done many long trips, and traveling across Europe and across Scandinavia in an EV is not an issue at all. Not even close. It's a wonderful thing to do. And I think that I wouldn't actually be able to go those really long stints I did with the Polestar 2 if it wasn't actually for those 30 to 40 minute breaks I did, every 3-4 hours while traveling on the Autobahn and on the motorway, because that made me, rest. I had to stop and rest, and I was able to go for longer, during the day. So guys, traveling across Europe, not an issue at all when you have Ionity chargers basically across all of Western Europe every 80 to 100 kilometers. Having done all of these long trips across Europe and also across Norway, I have learned that as long as an EV can do 300 to 400 kilometers in the real world at close to motorway speed, that is more than enough for most people. Because if you go 3 hours on the motorway, 300 kilometers, you most likely will have to stop to eat, to pee, to buy something to drink, to stretch your legs. I mean, if you're going to go 600 kilometers in a day, which is a long trip for a lot of people, that means stopping once. One time you stop and then you charge for 40 minutes and then you're able to go to your destination. I mean, at that point, we don't need more range. Quicker charging would be nice, and of course, longer range would be nice, but for most people, 300 to 400 kilometers in the real world is more than enough. It being 2021, we all know that EVs are amongst the fastest, if not the fastest cars on the market today. If you think anything else, well, I don't know what rock you've been living under, or if you just arrived here with a time machine. Welcome to 2021. EVs are stupid fast. You have cars like the Tesla Model S Plaid. You have cars like the Rimac Navara. You even have the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. You even have this E-Tron GT, which isn't even the fast one, the 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.1 seconds. and at speed it will outrun almost every fossil car out there because of the immediate response. But what really surprised me is that when I've hopped into a fossil car, I test drove a Porsche 911, a 997.1 a few weeks ago. It has a 3.4 liter flat six engine, 325 horsepower, and it doesn't weigh a lot. But that car felt slow compared to the Model S Standard Range Plus I was testing at the time. You really had to, to rev that Porsche out. And I know it's about the experience, but that not a long time ago would be considered a fast car. But even compared to the entry-level Tesla, it felt slow. So that really surprised me. This being an electric car, and maybe one of the most advanced electric cars, because it actually does not only have a front motor, but it also has a rear motor, and it also has a 2-speed transmission on the rear motor to give this car more acceleration at high speed and also better efficiency on the Autobahn. But that being said, it has 2 electric motors and then a simple 2-speed transmission. That's it. No cylinders, no pistons, no valve train, no mechanical parts whatsoever except for, well, the front steering, and also this actually has rear steer. So this is actually quite advanced to be an EV, but other than those things, you don't have a fossil engine with thousands of moving parts. This means that maintenance is kept to a minimum. My E-Tron 55 that I had previous to this, 27,000 kilometers, I didn't have to do anything. No maintenance at all. So having an EV, I'm pretty sure that in the long run, if we can keep the batteries healthy, if you do slow charging most of the time, you will be able to run these cars for a lot of years and a lot of miles without any major issues at all. So there we go, guys. Those were the 6 things I have learned in the past year driving all of these EVs that I thought I would share with you guys. Is there anything else you guys want me to dive more into detail about, or anything you feel I forgot that I should mention? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll most definitely make a follow-up video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always guys, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.